Hello everyone! Today there will be a retelling of the Chinese film of 2022 called Moon Man. The guy is being interviewed for a job as an engineer at the lunar station. But there is no place for the position of engineer and he agrees to become a cleaner. So he was able to get on the Project Moon Shield. The Lunar Shield project was created to protect the planet Earth from the asteroid Pi. This asteroid has been spinning near Mars for thousands of years, but when the attraction of Mars weakened, the asteroid went towards the Earth and in 8 years it will fall to Earth with a crash. The Chinese government decided to send astronauts to the moon and create a weapon called a space hammer that will destroy an asteroid, and the moon will collect the debris from it. And the Earth will be safe. Everything went according to plan and the inhabitants of the Earth have nothing to worry about. Doug I is going to solve personal problems before returning to Earth. He has been in love for a long time and is now going to confess his love to her and give her 2 figurines. He goes straight to Zen to give her a gift, but he is distracted by the station staff. Then he decides to write her a letter of confession and hurries to his cabin. At this time, the commander reports that the debris of the asteroid is about to hit the station. Zen gives the evacuation order. Everyone is rushing to their ships, but Degio does not hear the warning. He listens to music and thinks about his letter. After that, he notices how the ships start from orbit. Degio hurries to the ships. He reports on the radio that he has not boarded yet and asks that they wait for him, but they take off without him. No one notices that they have forgotten an employee. Doug I was left alone on the moon. After a few seconds, it starts raining asteroid debris. They're destroying part of the station. Degio gets carried away and wants to hide in the crater. But the chip still gets into it. When he comes to, he hears a warning that there is almost no air left. He looks and shouts towards the Earth and sees a huge meteorite crashing into the planet and the blast wave covers the Earth. Doug I realizes that he is the last person. The next frame of the ark returned to the base. It is in relative order. There is air, there is food. He's trying to contact Earth. Nothing comes out. He performs a memorial ceremony. Doug I wants to hang out in Zen's room, but there's a combination lock on the door. He picks up passwords for several weeks. Then he decides to blow it up after all. Once inside the room, he builds a semblance of a blue and arranges dinner. He does not realize that survivors, including Xian, are watching him from the ground. There is no connection with the Ark and the employees are just watching him. Xian reports to the chief that the cleaner Doug I stayed on Earth because of her fault. The chairman informs that they have to show people how the Ark lives alone on the moon. The fall of the meteorite caused the plates to split in America and Africa, which caused a tsunami and the destruction of 30% of the land. The Earth is covered with volcanic ash. The condition of people on Earth is terrifying. People have to live underground. If they make Doug a hero to follow, people will have hope. First you need to create an image for the Ark and you need voice acting. Xian reports on the Universal Network about a man on the moon who gave up his place in the rocket to a comrade. And he remained alive after the fall of fragments from the meteorite. They will soon start broadcasting about Doug I's life on the moon. They believe that this will help people cope with their difficulties. All people listen at TV screens, although many do not believe it. At this time, Doug I confesses to Xian's photos that he wanted to commit suicide. First I was starving, it was enough for 3 days, then I ate too much and almost died, then I wanted to go outside and take off my spacesuit, but I thought that suddenly my head would explode. At this moment, he accidentally finds a medicine bottle and realizes that it is possible to die quite easily. He goes to the warehouse. Along the way he sees empty food wrappers. Xian gives the command to turn on the broadcast. A voice actor arrives at the command post. There is no script and he will have to improvise. Doug I enters the warehouse and sees the silhouette of a human body lying there. Doug I starts a conversation with him that he is glad that he is not alone here and there are enough food for 2. Xian asks the actor to speak inspirational so that people would feel hope. But this silhouette turns out to be a live kangaroo. At this moment, the kangaroo's face appears in the frame. The actor starts voice acting and says that the day is super. People don't understand what a talking kangaroo is doing on the moon. The research center admitted that they had forgotten a kangaroo named King Kong Ru. Doug Weah does not like the appearance of such a friend, because he does not allow him to get to the medicines. Doug-Eye begins to try different ways to get to the medicines. The whole world is watching him. He takes a shovel and goes into the King Song-ru warehouse, sleeps by the ferry, crosses it and gets to the locker and goes to the exit, but the kangaroo appears behind him and breaks the shovel. Doug-Eye tries to get into the warehouse again. He disguises himself as a female kangaroo. Kong liked the beauty. The actor says on the air that Doug-Eye decided to seduce Kong. The guy still gets to the bubble, but Kim Song-ru decides to move on to a new stage of dating and Doug has to save his honor. After reaching the medicine, Do-gyeo's mask falls off and the kangaroo beats him. And the medicine breaks. The guy shows Xian photos of his beatings, but he doesn't give up. Xian and his colleagues apologize to the chairman for Doug-Eye and the worthless actor, and that Doug-Eye has turned into a laughingstock. But new information arrives, according to which Dogu appears as a hero. He printed a Gatling machine gun on a 3D printer and arranged a fight with Kong. At first, Kong ran away from Doug-Eye, though not for long. They fight and circle around the hall and the guy falls from the blow and lies motionless. Xian is trying to contact him. Dogu sees an audio track starting to move on the screen. He realizes that there are still survivors, and tries to talk to them. He does not see that the kangaroo's tail creates these disturbances. Looking at the ground, Doug-Eye is crying. He offers Kong not to fight anymore. And the kangaroo agrees. Doug-Eye tells Kong to rely on himself and try to save himself, not wait. Since 1969, the Apollo program has been conducted on the moon and one of the last vessels is on the surface. You need to get to it, take the engine and fly to the station in lunar orbit. And return to Earth in an escape pod. Doug-Eye began to build an apparatus that would take him home. On Earth, they don't understand how a simple cleaner does it. But when they find his personal file, they are surprised that the flight dynamics engineer did in the position of service personnel. Dogu finds out that the Apollo 18 rocket engine cannot be repaired, and it can carry only 10 kilograms. He tries to leave Kong alone, but he catches up with him. Doug-Eye recalls a Chinese inventor who wanted to fly fireworks. And they have such moon hammer. But it is located on the other side of the moon. He is going to go, but on Earth they do not understand how he will do it, because the vehicles on the moon are powered by solar panels and he will not be able to get to the hammer before and return to base before sunset. After all, the distance is great. But Doug-Eye will go in the opposite direction. This is part of his plan. He will go for the sun and rest for 4 hours. Then he will have time to get to the right place and return to base. People are watching what is happening with admiration. Along the way, they cope with fatigue as best they can. Here they are. After a long-ago disaster, they find a rocket and it is intact. Doug-Eye closes the kangaroo in the trailer and drives back. Along the way, the trailer is unhooked. On the ground they understand that men do not have time to return for Kong, because he will not have time for the sun. And die. But Doug-Eye is coming back. By all accounts, they will not have time to return. They have been driving non-stop for 53 hours. The sun sets and it switches to battery power, but it doesn't last long. And they stop 55 kilometers from the base. Suddenly, Doug-Eye sees Kong chasing a sunbeam and an idea flashes through his mind. The next picture is Yug building a sledge, attaching them to a kangaroo and shining a flashlight in front of him, and Kong jumps towards the base with huge jumps. Doug-Eye's victory created positive chemistry among people and he was awarded the Nobel Prize in Chemistry. People's lives are getting better. Earthlings believed in the possibility of survival in the most difficult situation. The climate is beginning to normalize. After the arc, he notices what triggers the means of communication. He's desperate. A man writes a letter to Xian that life makes sense if someone is waiting for you. He just wanted to go back to where she is. Doug-Eye leaves the kangaroo and goes outside. At this time, Xian informs everyone that they just forgot the man on the moon, but he did everything to survive and helped us find hope. Now it's our turn. The arc presses the depressurization button, and people come to the surface and begin to shine with what they have at hand. Someone shines with a small fan, someone with a spotlight, and an arc sees this light and cries with happiness that people are alive. Soon people get in touch and talk. That they were watching his every move. It gives him strength. He is happy. Xian is talking to him. RQ designs the ship for the return. Now he sees Blue every day. He confesses to her that he went to the cleaners only because he met her. Xian apologizes. She saw him rushing to the rocket, but still gave the order to take off. She couldn't do anything else. Here comes the day when Doug-Ai and Kong take off from the orbit of the moon. The spacecraft is docked to the Lunar Palace Station. At this time, information is received that the largest fragment of the meteorite is still in orbit and heading towards Earth. And the only space hammer is on the ship. And only the Ark can save humanity. Xian reports this to Doug-Ai, but he has already heard everything and will do it for the sake of people, risking his life. Earthlings are being asked to go underground. Humanity is once again on the verge of destruction. Doug-Ai says goodbye to Kong and puts him in an escape pod. He himself flies between the fragments of the meteorite looking for the biggest one. His module starts to rotate from the collision and loses control. The stabilization system is completely out of order. In order for its module to stabilize, the Ark needs to open the cabin door. A man sees an asteroid and asks Xian to synchronize his control system and press the destroy button herself, and he will deliver the rocket. Dooku asks to turn on the broadcast and says goodbye to humanity. He has never had a family, but there is a feeling that he is not alone. The rocket detaches from the ship and arcs it towards the asteroid. He sings his favorite song Xian. She cries over the control panel from it. At this time, the rescue module with the kangaroo descends to the ground. Xian presses the button. People come to the surface watching as the already harmless fragments of an asteroid fall to Earth. They salute the Moon Man. 10 years have passed. People have restored the climate and can fly to the moon again. King Sungru started a family. Returning to the moon again, Xian sees a cheerful Doug-Ai. But only she sees him. The movie ends. Like and subscribe. All